Alright guys, what is up? So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're not going to talk this week on strictly auto in the weekly discussion, just because I think there's a lot going on right now, and not all of it pertains to being a technician. So this week we're taking kind of a break from that. If you haven't seen the Fox body video, which, like we kind of talked about last week, talked about the earlier video, they just make me cringe a little. I mean, just the way that I delivered everything I was trying to say, I feel like I can do a better job of it now that I'm used to kind of making videos. Not that I'm great by any means, but just that I kind of have a rhythm for myself. But anyway, regardless of that, if you haven't checked out that video, that will explain some of the story on the Fox body project. If you haven't seen that, check it out. I'll give you the condensed version right now, but I'll put that video right here. So, condensed version of that story is, Jared had an SN95, loved the SN95, except for it was a convertible and it was an automatic. But my uncle, who passed away this last year, so bless him, he sold me that car for about $1,000, and he was one of those just super role model guys to me growing up, and still is to this day, but just, I can't even describe how much I looked up to that man. And so the car was special to me. At the time I needed the money, but even then, which was 2.5 years before his passing, I wanted to, it was so special to me that he got me this Mustang that I wanted to keep something of that around. Hot. I wanted to keep some of that around, so I ended up buying a 5.0 83 GT with a little bit of money I could scrape together with the funds, and just to kind of keep something from him around, if that makes sense. And I always liked the Fox bodies, and I wanted a more dedicated, I wanted to build like a drag car. I wanted to get into like amateur drag racing. So that's still the goal. But there's a whole long story behind how I got that car. If you're watching this video and you were in tech school with me, you're probably laughing because you remember that whole story, because you would have heard it then and it was ridiculous. But like I said, go watch that video, you'll figure it out. Well, that car has been sitting at my parents' house for the last 3 years. And it kills me. And the problem is, and I'm sure a lot of you know, you buy projects and then you don't have anywhere to work on them, or any place to work on it, it's any dedicated place. And I lived in an apartment at first, so that was out. I got in trouble a lot there for welding in the garage. I kept tripping the breaker, and the lady's like, "You're not supposed to be welding out there." Sorry. But anyway, so I didn't have a spot to work on it, and then despite my parents being like, "Well, you can work on it in our garage," I didn't want to mess up their garage any more than I already did, and then blah, blah, blah. So there it sits. Then last year I really started focusing on house hunting. Well, now I have the house, I have the garage, I have the space. The Fox is coming out. But the whole point of this video, there's kind of two little points here, and one is, don't bite off more than you can chew with this project stuff, alright? I mean, see how tired I look? I don't really know how to word this to go together, but don't bite off more than you can chew as well, not just for time and projects, but how far you're going to go with those projects. It's really easy to hop on YouTube and watch these videos of like 800 horsepower Fox bodies, or 1200 horsepower GTRs, or 1700 horsepower 7M GTE Supra, or whatever, it's ridiculous. So don't listen. It's so easy to watch that stuff and be like, that's what I want. Alright, so when I ran track across country, aging myself, 2012, when I did those things in high school, there was a book I had to read, and I always thought about it in regards to cars as well. And it said, it was a great book, it pertained to any kind of competition or goals you have in life, but it was based on running. And it said, there will always be someone faster than you, and there will always be someone slower than you, as long as you are competing. And that's true. So like, all these people watch these videos and they're like, "Oh my god, my Fox body's slow, it only has 350 wheel horsepower." Hey, guess what? You get in a car with 350 wheel horsepower that's as small as a Fox body and old and antiquated, so it doesn't have all the like creature comfort, electronic steering, quiet interior. It's gonna be a fast car. So it's so easy to bench race and sit behind a keyboard and think, "Oh god, this is slow, haha, you suck." But in reality, that's not the truth. I mean, I have a buddy that has a built GSX Eclipse, and he will never tell me exactly how much horsepower it makes, but he told me it's right around in the high 4s. And that's a heavier little car, and holy crap, is that thing nuts. Alright, eventually we'll get a review of that, but he hasn't let me do it yet. So, my point is, don't give yourself these unrealistic expectations that you're not going to be able to reach. It's like if I said, like, I want my Fox body to have 900 horsepower. You know what it would take to have an older Ford V8 run 900 horsepower? I'd sell my house and sleep in the ditch. I mean, there's just no way I'm going to be able to afford that. So I don't want to give myself some unrealistic goal like that and then never be able to achieve it financially, and I'm screwed. So, and then you lose, what happens? You lose interest and whatever. So don't do that. Also, don't bite off more projects than you can chew just like at one time. I'm terrible for this. My problem is, like, I love way too many vehicles, and I get overstimulated and I just start buying. But right now I'm actually sitting okay. I have one project that got sidelined, and then the Fox body I haven't even started, so, but that's going to take priority. That's going to come out this week as soon as I get a hold of the trailer. We'll make a whole video on that. But you just have to know kind of, and this I guess kind of goes to being a technician, you got to know when to say no. Right now I'm currently painting, or having painted, a Triumph Spitfire for my uncle, and it's been way too long and it's a huge project. So later today we're going to hop over and talk about that just a little bit. We're going to go see that car. But long story short, it's just been a mess. I mean, just a mess. I didn't really have time for it, you know, and it's just one of those things, family, and they keep asking about it, and eventually you're like, sure, I'll do it. Well, I can do body work, but I'm not a body guy, so, like, everything I know is DIY. It's not, you know, I don't know. I guess I don't know if it's the right way to do it, but I can make stuff look pretty damn good if I try. So I was like, yep, sure, I'll do it. I just don't have anywhere to paint it. I'll have someone paint it for me. Long story short, it came back, and it looked terrible, like, god-awful. So now I'm going through twice as much work to refix it, everything that was painted over that shouldn't have been, and all the bad prep work, and then I'm getting it repainted. So we'll talk about that a little bit today. But that's just kind of what I wanted to touch on this week, because in my car world, outside of work, not even thinking about work, putting that stress in there, I've been just super stressed out about everything I got going on. So don't create unrealistic goals for yourself. It's unnecessary. Just have fun, especially if it's your first build or your first project. Just have fun with it and make it realistic so you can actually afford to do it and you have the skill set to do it. And don't bite off more than you can chew, because you don't want to be tired like I am all the time. It's just about 6 in the morning, or it is 6 in the morning. Alright, so we'll see you in a little bit, and then we'll talk about the Triumph when I'm done with work. See ya. Alright, so we're going to my folks' house to find the Triumph. Here, you get ready to see this, guys. There's the old green beast, if y'all remember her. And the Mazda. Yeah, I still got a bunch of stuff here. It's a touchy subject. It's just like, I don't want to crowd my space. There she is. Right now, so we were talking about the Triumph earlier this morning. And this is kind of what I meant by when I said don't get in over your head and don't take on too many projects and don't bite off more than you can chew. Well, I did that here with this Triumph. It's kind of hard. It's my uncle's car. And I told him, you know, it's like I'm not a body guy. And he just kind of kept mentioning it. And eventually I was like, sure. Basically, the car was in pretty good shape. Had some dings. Had a little bit of surface rust. He wanted it repainted. So as you can see, it got repainted. Used to be green. But we have an issue. So I said it used to be green. Yep, you can tell. I don't know if this is going to come through on the camera, but you can see the terrible tape lines, and can you see those? Try to turn it. See the grind marks in the paint? Like above the handle, like look up here. If I turn, kind of try to angle it so you get it in the light. Those are all like angle grinder marks. So it's the long story, but it got painted, and it didn't get painted well at all, and none of the body work that was supposed to be done ended up getting done at all, and I can't even believe it. Here's another thing I got to show you. So like right there, see again grind marks, and you can see the screws holding that latch down actually just got painted over, and you can see where they just kind of whiz-wheeled around the old paint. If you look right around the screws here, you can see the like the lines, or they just cut next to it. That's old paint under there. What else? But you can see all these marks here. All these things that are circled was PDR. I'm lucky enough to have a buddy that does paintless dent repair, and he took out like 8 or 9 dents for me for like $200. All right, so shout out to James and his buddy Trent. There was a huge dent here. Don't know if you can see that in the lighting here. I'll try to move it a little bit. But there was a huge dent, like this whole corner right here was actually caved in. And they were able to even pull that out. I went to like glaze just a little bit of it like right there. But for the most part, it turned out really awesome. But yeah, once this is done, I'm going to get a review of this car for you guys. But I want to get it done first. That's actually why I'm here tonight. I didn't want to take this car all the way out to my house. So I'm going to do a little bit of body work myself here at the house and get rolling. So if I'm going to strip it down, basically how it boiled down is the guy that actually painted it the first time was really cool. I just kind of went back to him and I was like, look, I need this redone. Like, I can't turn this car in this condition at all. Those grind marks you can't see, but they're all over the entire car. So it needs to be redone. So he was really cool about it actually, and he's got a bunch of other projects right now that he's doing. I really don't know what happened because, yeah, I don't know why you'd send this car out like this, but he was really cool about it, and he said that he's going to redo it for me. I just have to do the body work. So it creates a little more work for me to have to do that and to do all the body work myself, but it is what it is. I just need to get it done. So why do a PDR if you're going to get the car repainted, you might ask? Well, I'm going to basically have to go over all these spots that are angle ground down and do a skim coat of body filler over those. And anytime you're doing body work, you want to use as little body filler as possible. Just the most minuscule amount you can use. The less body filler on a car, the better. So my buddy was able to get most of the dents out, so now we don't have to fill those anymore. And it was kind of nice for him too, because he didn't have to be too careful, because I said, look, I have to repaint the car anyway. If you pull a little paint, crack a little paint, it's alright, I got to sand it all down. So that's what we're here doing tonight. The things that are going to suck is I don't really exactly know like what I'm going to do with these screws here. I got to get them out, so I might just sand them, and then I have to pick the paint out and try to unscrew those. There's little things like rivets there, like rivets right there that hold the soft top down. I'm going to end up just drilling those out and getting new rivets for that. Other than that, you know, I'm probably going to mask it off for the guy so that all I literally have to do is bring the car to him and drop it off and get it done. The sad thing is the color turned out really nice. Like, I really like the color, and the paint laid out pretty well. It's just the bodywork under it that kind of was not good. So that is the Triumph. Just gonna roll it outside. Sparky, did you get a bath, buddy? Oh, you look so nice. Hi, Sparky, say hi. Oh, don't lick that. You got a bath. Oh, hey, buddy. Want to come out with us? Alright, so I rolled the car outside so we can kind of look it over a little bit. There she is, sapphire blue. So basically, the point of this video is just to kind of show you what's going on with the Triumph. Like I said, eventually we're going to have a review of this car here, and it actually is pretty fun to drive, even though it's pretty small and pretty underpowered. But we're going to do that eventually. I just want to get this bodywork straightened out, and like we were talking about this morning before work, try not to get above and beyond what you can chew here. I had no business taking on a car to get painted at the time. I didn't even have my own garage, but here we are. So tune in next time. Thanks, guys.